February 2022. The world woke up to images many believed belonged to another century. Columns of tanks crossing borders, missiles striking cities, and millions of people suddenly thrust into war. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, expecting a rapid victory. Many analysts predicted Ukraine might collapse within days or weeks, but that prediction failed. Ukraine resisted. And then the question changed. No longer, can Ukraine survive? Instead, can Ukraine defeat Russia? It sounds like a simple question, but in war, simple questions often have complicated answers. What does defeat even mean? Does it mean pushing every Russian soldier out of Ukrainian territory? Does it mean regaining all land lost since 2014? Does it mean forcing Russia into negotiations, or does it simply mean surviving as an independent nation? Tonight, we examine one of the biggest geopolitical questions of our time. Can Ukraine defeat Russia, or is the answer more complicated than victory and defeat? Part 1. The unequal match. On paper, the matchup looked almost impossible. Russia is one of the world's largest military powers. It possesses vast territory, enormous natural resources, and a massive defense industry. For decades, Russia maintained one of the largest armed forces on Earth. Ukraine, by comparison, was smaller in population and military resources. Many observers believe the balance of power strongly favored Russia. If war were decided only by numbers, the story might have ended quickly. But wars are rarely decided by numbers alone. History repeatedly shows that smaller countries can resist stronger ones. Technology matters, leadership matters, geography matters, morale matters, and perhaps most importantly, political will matters. Russia expected a short campaign. Instead, it entered a prolonged conflict. One of the greatest surprises of the war was Ukraine's early resistance. Instead of rapid collapse, Ukrainian forces adapted quickly. Cities organized defenses. Volunteers joined the fight. Supply networks formed. Civilian support became a major factor. The conflict transformed from a conventional invasion into a much broader struggle. The image of war itself changed. Small drones suddenly destroyed expensive armored vehicles. Portable missile systems challenged aircraft and tanks. Digital communication became a battlefield. Information spread across social media in real time. The war showed something important. Modern conflicts are no longer fought only with soldiers and tanks. They are fought with technology, intelligence, economics, and public support. Ukraine demonstrated that determination can disrupt expectations. But disrupting expectations is not necessarily the same as winning. Before asking whether Ukraine can defeat Russia, we must define victory. Because victory in war is not always obvious. Imagine two scenarios. In the first scenario, Ukraine pushes Russian forces out of every occupied area and restores all territory. And sometimes neither side truly wins. Part 4. Russia's strengths. To understand whether Ukraine can defeat Russia, we must understand Russia's advantages. Russia possesses several major strengths. First, size. Large territory provides strategic depth. Second, resources. Russia has substantial energy and industrial capacity. Third, military infrastructure. Years of weapons production and stockpiles create long-term capacity. Fourth, endurance. Large states often possess greater ability to absorb losses over time. History shows that Russia has repeatedly survived enormous challenges. From invasions to economic crises to major wars, the country has demonstrated resilience. This does not mean Russia cannot struggle, but it means defeating Russia outright is extremely difficult. History suggests that defeating large powers often becomes a long process, rather than a quick event. Yet Ukraine also possesses major strengths. First, motivation. For Ukraine, this conflict involves national survival. History shows that populations defending their homeland often fight with extraordinary determination. Second, adaptability. Modern warfare change is rapid. Ukraine showed an ability to adjust tactics and integrate new technologies. Third, international support. Military assistance, financial aid, training, and intelligence can significantly affect battlefield realities. Fourth, innovation. The war accelerated the use of drones and new battlefield methods. Technology increasingly rewards speed and adaptation. A smaller force using smart tactics can challenge larger systems. Ukraine's strengths cannot simply be measured on a spreadsheet. Some of the most important factors in war cannot be counted easily. Many people imagine war as maps, tanks, and explosions. But modern war extends far beyond battlefields. Economic systems become weapons. Energy supplies become strategic tools. Diplomacy becomes a battlefield. Public opinion becomes another front line. Sanctions affect industries. Supply chains affect military production. Foreign support affects endurance. Political decisions affect everything. Wars today involve entire societies. Victory often depends on which side can sustain effort longer. The question becomes not only who can fight, but who can continue fighting. Time changes wars. Short wars and long wars operate differently. At the beginning of conflict, momentum matters. Later, endurance matters. As wars continue, new challenges appear. Economic strain, military fatigue, political pressure, public opinion, resource shortages. Long wars can reshape societies. History shows that even powerful countries sometimes struggle to maintain prolonged conflicts. But time cuts both ways. Extended wars can also challenge smaller countries that rely heavily on outside assistance. The longer a conflict continues, the more uncertainty enters the equation, and uncertainty favors no one. No major conflict exists in isolation. Ukraine's situation is connected to broader international relationships. Support from partners can provide weapons, training, intelligence, and economic assistance. That support may influence battlefield outcomes. But international support also introduces complexity. Political priorities change. Elections happen. Economic pressures emerge. Global crises compete for attention. Foreign assistance can be powerful, but dependence creates vulnerabilities. Long-term support becomes a major question, because wars are not fought in laboratories. They unfold inside changing political environments. Past wars often rewarded mass and firepower. Modern conflicts increasingly reward information and innovation. Drones became symbols of this transformation. Small systems costing thousands of dollars can threaten systems costing millions. Artificial intelligence, surveillance technologies, satellite imagery, and communication networks increasingly shape warfare. The battlefield becomes interconnected. A soldier with information can sometimes achieve more than a larger force without it. But technology alone does not guarantee victory. Every innovation creates countermeasures. Every advantage eventually faces adaptation. War becomes a cycle of change, and the side adapting faster often gains temporary advantages. Now we arrive at the central question. Could Ukraine achieve a complete military victory? The answer is, possibly, but several conditions would likely matter. Continued military effectiveness, sustained support, successful operations, political cohesion, long-term economic resilience. Yet complete victories against major powers are historically difficult. Large countries often retain substantial capacity even after serious setbacks. Military outcomes rarely move in straight lines. Advances can reverse, momentum can shift. Unexpected events can change calculations. War repeatedly surprises experts. Predictions often fail. Reality tends to be messier. The opposite question matters too. Could Russia achieve its objectives? Again, Possibly. Russia maintains significant resources and military capacity. Large states can sustain long campaigns. Political calculations can evolve. Strategies can change. But wars rarely proceed according to initial plans. Unexpected resistance can alter outcomes dramatically. History contains many examples where powerful countries discovered that controlling territory proved easier than controlling outcomes. Winning battles and winning wars are not always the same thing. Perhaps the original question contains a hidden problem. Maybe asking, can Ukraine defeat Russia, oversimplifies reality. Wars are not sporting events. There is no scoreboard, no final buzzer, no guaranteed ending. The real question might be, what outcome becomes sustainable? What outcome becomes acceptable? What outcome prevents future conflict? History suggests that wars often end through combinations of military pressure, political negotiation, exhaustion, and changing circumstances. The final result may not look like total victory for anyone. So, can Ukraine defeat Russia? The answer depends on how we define defeat. If defeat means eliminating Russia as a power, that seems highly unlikely. If defeat means forcing strategic failure, that becomes more complicated. If defeat means preserving Ukrainian independence and sovereignty, many would argue that possibility remains real. The truth is that war rarely provides clean answers. And perhaps the biggest lesson from this conflict is how often certainty collapses. Predictions failed before. They may fail again, because history has a habit of surprising everyone. The story is still being written, and nobody, not generals, not analysts, not governments, can see the final page.